hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Purr. I am just still drinking on some water that I've had here for a couple of days. You know what? I am going to finish it this episode. I'm going to finish this in this episode. So that's what's going to happen because hydration is important. But you know what else I have? My cup mug. And we have a panel full of cup mugs, panel full of cup mugs. Beer. Deal or no deal. Island edition. And we're here, you can get it. You can get you one of these at LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. The link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. So there are no excuses unless your services are being a little slow. And that's okay. Because a delay is never a deny. You always still get it. It just might take a little while to get there, but you will still get it. So get your cup merch, period.
And hello, my name is Jack. I am the resident game designer of the panel, and I would never drop Lana out of a hammock. It's just not in my blood. I trust her too much. I would let it happen. Also because I want to drop out of a hammock. That just seems like fun.
I would so quickly pull that thing because I do not want to drop out of a hammock. And I am not afraid of heights. I'm afraid of bungees. Like, I just don't like the fall of it all. Like, that is where I'm like, nah. You can take me up as high as you want. Just don't drop me.
I don't blame you. I really don't. I just don't. I don't know. I don't value that too much. I'm like, look, if I'm going to go out, at least make it fun.
Right. I will quickly drop you, Jack. Yay!
Yay!
But we are here talking Deal or No Deal Island Season 2, Episode 5, where it was crazy, it was chaotic, it was wild, and we enjoyed watching every second of it. So we're going to jump right into it. But before we do, I need you to do me a quick favor. Hit the subscribe button right now because we are on a mission to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And we are going to continue to give you great content on time, expeditiously, as quickly as possible, fast, about all things relevant. We're giving you exit interviews from Deal or No Deal Island. We're doing all of these things. We got a lot of shows we're covering coming up and start still like
so many.
Let's
see. Deal or No Deal Island, Survivor US, Survivor AU, Amazing Race, Traders US, because UK, thank God, finished up.
Just finished.
And the Challenge All-Stars. And have I missed anything else? Because I
Love Island All-Stars.
Love Island. And then also a Project Runway recap. So there's got to be something in there, right?
Something in there that you watch and you enjoy, and we are talking about all of it. And you know what? I don't mind doing it. I love doing it, but I'll need you to help me out. So we help us out here at the Cup TV. Give us some more subscribers. We're trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. If you are a fan of Drag Race, Eurovision Song Contest, and WWE wrestling, we got a channel for you also that you can go subscribe to. All those things will be in the description below, and you can check those out and do all the things to subscribe to all of our channels. We appreciate you. Our audio podcast links are in the description below, so you need to check us out on the go. And we see y'all, audio listeners. We see y'all. We appreciate y'all so much. Thank you so much. And if you want some craziness, some wild, funny, getting to know this panel a little bit better, our Patreon is where you need to be, because we got a lot of stuff coming up where we are going to just have some fun, let loose as a panel, do some fun, wild things. Look, me and Jack might be representing the TV channel in something coming up soon, and me and Jack are real competitive. so
competitive. I mean, we're gonna win.
we're gonna win.
But like, to see how much we win by, you're gonna have to subscribe to the Patreon.
Absolutely, because we don't lose here.
We don't. We just don't.
So there's that. But yeah, so you want to check all of those things out. It's gonna be great. Join our Patreon, and then of course just follow us on our socials so you can see what we got going on and the events we got coming up. So do all those things. Check all those things out. All right, enough of the business side of it all. Let's get into Deal or No Deal Island, because this episode was wild, to say the least. I mean, we're coming off of a huge win from Dixon, winning $5 million. But we're also coming off a blind side of Storm being kicked out and nobody saw it coming. And people are not happy.
God, people were annoyed. Family overjoyed. Everyone else in various states of confused, apathetic, or in MG's case, completely pissed off. She was done. And I mean, Dixon is in her family, but at the same time, she's looking and going, should I get a divorce? Is that an option? Can I get like, I don't know the
papers
word
or
for the top
something?
of my head.
Papers or something?
Custody for myself. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to live with this family anymore.
Emancipation? Can I get emancipation?
Emancipation, that's the word.
Can I get emancipation? That's it. And I don't blame MG for wanting a little bit of emancipation, you know? You just sent home my eye candy, my boy toy, my flirts. I don't like it. Don't like it.
Yeah. And I mean, we do know that, you know, Storm was really close to her, and that was a lot of comfort. So now, looking forward, the only thing she really has is the family, which that's a fun conflict to now have to deal with. Of, I don't like my sibling, but my parents are fine. So
right.
We'll see how that breaks out.
Just so wild. It just, everybody's still trying to cope with what just went down, and they're like, I don't know. But this turn, well, not even really a turn. It's just the eyes are now on the family. The eyes are now looking at the family, and they're like, so how do we get rid of them? And everybody's looking at them who's not in the family.
Which is interesting because, I mean, we have Dr. Will, who everyone hates.
Right.
We have CK, who everyone is basically targeting because they didn't have a reason to target anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
We have Michelle, who, unfortunately, on the show, we just haven't gotten much of at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We have Philip, who is buddy with Parvati, so
still in a really good position.
But still in a really good position where he's getting essentially all the benefits of the family without being part of the family.
Right.
And then we have MG. No. We have Seychelle, who has realized what's going on and says, you know, what if we did something about this? I mean, there's 5 of us. There's 4 of them. This isn't really a majority game, but like we can work at it.
Mm-hmm. And folks are like, you know, maybe this could work.
We'll see how this challenge goes.
Right. We'll see what the challenge brings, and we'll go. And so we do go to the challenge. And so we find out that everybody has to be put in pairs. And Joe was like, okay, everybody pair up. And we're going to see what happens. So everybody picks their pairs. And, of course, nobody's trying to pick Dr. Will. Nobody.
No one. Yeah, no.
No one's
not
running
after
Dr. Will. Will is like, look at this, Joe. Everybody's lining up to be my partner. You don't all have to come to me at once. I'm only one me. I can't do everybody. And all the folks are just like,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
So
But
Dixon,
also, no one's going for Dixon either. I
yeah,
mean, we
yeah.
have the expected pairs of Philip
Parvati and
Parvati,
Philip, they've been partners every
easy.
time. Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, MG David, both part of the
Yeah.
family, done. Uh, I mean, Dixon and Will, no one really wants to partner up with in the first place. So, I mean, kind of just,
Gotta go together, I
yeah.
guess.
And
It's more
then,
like you just gotta do it because nobody else wants you.
yeah,
Unfortunately.
Letty and Lachelle just end up linking up. And
Mm-hmm.
then
See,
CK and Seychelle link
yep.
together. Just, I mean, good friendships. Why not?
Why not? But they all link together, and then just says, "But you will all play separately. We'll lead one pair into the jungle at a time, and everybody else just hold off." So the first group who goes, first pair is Letty and Lachelle, and they go into the jungle, and then they are told that they are not playing with each other, but against each other, and they have to sit on these hammocks, and Joe will raise them up to each level. It's 7 levels, and they have to be raised to these levels, and each side is two different case amounts, and essentially is whoever has the highest case when by the end, if they either drop the opponent or get dropped, whoever has the highest case between the two will win and will get safety, and the other person will lose and be in danger of playing the banker. So they could lie and bluff their way up this ring, and to see, or you could be honest and like come to some kind of solution, like, okay, you'll get it, but just make sure I'm not playing the banker, blah blah blah. So
I mean, yeah, this challenge ultimately is pretty simple. It's just, I mean, they were initially assigned on, hey, partner up with someone you trust,
right.
basically, and then told, okay, this is actually a Squid Game style challenge. We're going to make you go directly against your partner, but you can still trust each other. I mean, like, there's no reason to bluff or lie to each other. And at least with Letty and Lachelle,
They were very honest.
comparing their cases, they're like, okay, Letty has the highest case at the very top of a flat 3 mil.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just agree to go for that because it makes the most sense. Putting Lachelle in danger.
Lachelle, she did try to fight back a little bit. She didn't really want to be in danger. She's like, I really want to be safe. And it was one point where it was like she had 2.5 million and Letty had 2.25. Um, and Lachelle was like, I really want to pull this right now. Number one, she was scared of heights. She didn't like being up that high. And number two, she was like, I'm tired of being in danger. I want to be safe for once. And I don't feel like, and they're like, and so Letty was like, but it's 3 million right above me. If we go up one more, it's 3 million. We can have a lot of money for the pot, blah, blah, blah. And Lachelle was like, I know we're doing this for the money. She said, but I really want to be safe. So she was going through that whole, and I like that she was telling this to Letty. Like, I'm being honest with you. I don't want to be vulnerable, but I also want to have money for the pot. And it was just like, but they ended up just like, Letty was like, I will make sure you are not in danger. I will work so you are not in danger. I won't put you against the banker. I will make sure whoever I do put against the banker is not even thinking about you. And so Lachelle eventually lets Letty have it. So they go up. Letty gets 3 mil. Lachelle gets like 1
1.9.
point something million.
It, the thing about this challenge is that the other case, the not higher one, literally does not matter.
Right.
because only the higher value cases are the one that get put on the board at the end of the round. So, I mean, we just kind of have a simple get the highest case through
Mm-hmm.
whatever means you want. So,
Mm-hmm.
the one thing I will say is that, I mean, obviously, the pulling of the rope is purely spectacle
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't matter who pulls the rope. There is no advantage to you dropping your opponent or your opponent dropping you beyond the fact that it ends the round.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we kind of have this awkward situation where most of the teams end up kind of being like, okay, you're going to be the one that's safe. How do we end this? Like,
Right.
they expected a lot more drama than they actually got.
They expected people
So,
to really truly bluff more than they actually did. Like most people, I will say most of the teams were very honest about what they were given in their cases, so who can get the right amount and blah blah blah. We did have one case where the team did bluff a little bit, but it really wasn't that big of a deal, honestly, from what we saw. Um, we had Parvati and Philip go, and they were both trying to be the one to have the most money in their case, but they didn't want to go up any higher. They were like, "We're done with this height stuff." Um, so Philip had 1.6, Parvati had 1.8, and Philip told her she had 1.5, and she said she had 1.5. And I was like, "And you believe that?" Because y'all not gonna have the
yeah,
same amount.
wait. Literally one of them has to be higher. I mean, that should have I mean, well, I guess it wouldn't have immediately alerted Philip
Because
because
he had 1.6.
he had 1.6. So he thought Parvati was just telling the truth.
Right.
But no.
No, she had 1.8.
And this
This sparked
fractures.
this fractures the friendship and the bond that
Wait,
they had.
no. I don't want to see that. No. No.
We don't want to see the fracture of Philip and Parvati, Chair.
I mean, I don't want to see Philip's game damaged.
I'm with you on that. Philip, a
And I
friend. Look,
mean,
Philip, a friend of the pod, by the way, because he does follow us and says that he watches us every week. So, hey,
oh,
Philip.
thank you, Philip.
Thank you, Philip.
And I also want to say, because we did skip over it just slightly, thank you for genuinely sending a message out of like, yeah, no, I wanted to be the person that people who think they're weird are like, no, they're doing fine. I can do fine.
Right.
Like, that is one of the reasons I watch reality TV, to be like, hey, people who are like me are doing well in the world and being
Mm-hmm.
able to play these games and do it well. So it really does mean a lot to see that kind of progression keep going of, yeah, I'm here for you.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, we love Philip. Look, we're Philip Stan account here on this channel. We'll just go say that because absolutely. Yeah. We already know that he we said he was doing in a really, really, really good position. And I still stand by that right now, even to this point. In a really good position. But yeah, that did fracture a little bit. And I was like, oh no. Uh-oh. But because when the results were revealed and Parvati had 1.8 and Philip had 1.6, he was like, you lied to me. And she was like, you lied to me. And I was like, y'all lied to each other. Just let it go. But apparently it was tension. It was tension even after that. And I was like, ooh, well, Julie.
Well, damn.
Well, dang. But everybody else seemed to be very honest. Well, we saw Seychelle literally like tell CK, look, I really want to be safe. I'm tired of being in this bottom and you're going to be good. We won't put you up, which they could probably guarantee that point. And
I mean, everyone kind of knows that Dr. Will, especially after he tried to throw himself in last time
Mm-hmm.
in a challenge that pretty clearly has a way that you can decide you lose.
Right.
This is a good chance for Dr. Will to send himself into elimination. And I mean, he said he wanted to go after CK, but of
Right.
course, you can never trust Dr. Will.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't blame CK's hesitation of like, I, I still want safety, you know.
Right.
I'd rather just be safe. But
But she talks her right into it, and so Seychelle is safe, and CK is them. Then we get to Dr. Phil and Dixon. Now Dixon has said numerous times they are afraid of heights. They're afraid of heights. They don't like it. They don't want to do it. They're afraid of heights, and uh, and so Dr. Will is like, okay, sure. Dr. Will has this huge plan, this master plan that he's going to do. And he wants to expose Dixon for the weasel that he is. I'm like,
through getting Dixon to pull a rope that he's going to pull anyway because he's afraid of heights and doesn't want to fall. But actually, when he does that, then Dr. Will's going to do it. And then he's going to have this big speech about. Does this sound weird? It's because it is, and it doesn't make any sense, and is literally only a moral victory that does nothing.
I was like, oh, Dr. Will, this is not your finest moment. You've done some really great things. This was not the moment. Like,
No.
this didn't give like I thought it might give in his head.
Mhm.
Like, I thought in his head, he probably thought, this is go eat. This is going to be the thing. I'm going to do all the exposing, and Dixon is people are going to be turn against Dixon. And then it played out, and it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It just wasn't.
It wasn't. I mean, unfortunately, what really happened is that Dixon went for the rope. Dr. Will pulled it. And whether it was out of fear or instinct, Dixon grabbed the rope anyway because he was already going for it and pulled it.
Right. Because did you want him to stay on him? Like, he said he wasn't gonna pull the rope, or he was gonna pull the rope, and then I pulled the rope, and he didn't pull the rope to make like what was.
And also, the challenge was done individually. No one would have seen this. It would have been purely Dr. Will's word against Dixon's. But because Dr. Will got his way, except for the part that he would pull the rope and not fall, and that Dixon would fall and be the only one to, Dr. Will storms off set.
Yeah, he's mad. He threw a temper tantrum and he walks off. In this moment, I was like, not your finest moment, Will. Not really your finest moment. I mean, like, you didn't even come back to do the reveal later on. Like, you could have stormed off, had a minute, came back. But no, you don't even do that. Like, you stay gone. Like, stop being a perpetual baby in that moment. Like, your plan didn't work. So, suck it up, Buttercup. Move on.
100% the only reason he was able to get away with this is because he's Dr. Will, and that they wouldn't have let him go if he tried to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we do kind of find out later that like Dr. Will tries to explain this and no one buys it.
Nobody.
Everyone is just like, no, you had a temper tantrum because your big plan failed.
Right.
Just be real. You can say that. We're human. We have emotions. Like, you're not a robot. But I like Dr. Will. This definitely went in a column of seeing where the haters are at.
Yeah, this just was not it. This just was not it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
We've seen better days from Dr. Will. This just wasn't a good moment for him. But
And in my opinion, it doesn't get better based on the rest of the episode, but we'll talk about it because I feel like we might clash on it.
maybe. I mean, but we do get back, and he, like you said, he tried to explain it. Nobody's buying it. Everybody's just like, whatever. So the people who are safe, to Parvati, David, um,
Parvati,
Parvati,
David,
David,
Dixon,
Letty, and Dixon, they're
and
all safe. And so, and Seychelle, she's safe. And so Philip, Lachelle, Maria Grace, Dr. Will are all in danger.
and Courtney, because
CK, yes.
CK, yeah.
All in danger of going against the banker. Letty has the most money with $3 million, so she gets to decide which one of them goes against the banker. And so when we get back to camp, Letty is pulled into a room with Dr. Will and Seychelle and Philip and Lachelle, and they're talking about how what they a plan. They want to get this plan together, and Dr. Will wants to go in. Let Dr. Will go in. But Dr. Will, they know Dr. Will is going to go after CK if he wins, but that's not what they want to do. So Will was like, what if they were like, well, Will was like, so who do y'all want me to go after? And they were like, Maria Grace, we got to break up the family. The family has to be broken up at this point. And then we get these flashbacks or these quick go back and forth to see the family like, oh, say you're a cool mom. You're cool. Like, I'm a cool mom, between Parvati and David and Maria Grace and Dixon. They're all having their family moments. And they were like, we got to break up this family. And they are doing, it can be dangerous. It's 5 of us, it's 4 of them. This is the time to do it. And Maria Grace is the only one that is, MG is here. She's vulnerable. The only one that's vulnerable. Let's take out MG. And they are just like, well, it's like, okay, we'll do that. But they were like, how do we convince CK that you're not going to take her out? So Seisha was like, you know what? Let's go get her. I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk to her. And so she goes and grabs CK, brings her into the room, and Will tells her, look, if y'all let me play, I won't come for you. I won't pick you. Even though you said you don't like me. You've been very out about it. You've not made it a secret that you don't like me. And she was like, right. He's like, but I won't come for you. And here's why I think everybody in that room understood Dr. Will. Because Will is a lot of things. Will acts crazy. He says a lot of things. His mind is wide. You never know where he's going to come. But he has never lied to any of them. And he's not a liar. And so I think that's what they took. They were like, he might be wild. He might be crazy. He might be annoying. But he is not a liar. So if he's telling you, I'm giving you my word, I won't do this, you tend to believe him. And they tend to believe him. So CK was like, if you promise not to come for me and not to take me out, I will go along with this plan. And, I will work with y'all. Because it was like, if they get out MG, they will all come together and work together to take out the other 3. And they will go focus on working together to take them out. And so he was like, I just got to trust it. I just got to
trust it. Yeah. And I mean, Dr. Will also brings up a great point of, if I take out CK, all of you are pissed at me. Yep. The family's already pissed at me. I just get everyone annoyed at me versus if I take out Maria Grace, the only people annoyed are the family. So, like, it doesn't make sense not to work with y'all at this point. So, I mean, we have known from the exit interviews that we've done, which you can check out on our lovely channel. Go give them watches. They're absolutely chock full of information. We do know that there were other alliances outside of the family, including High Five with various other people. Storm specifically was one of the people who was mentioned. So we do know that other alliances were formed, but this is the first time on the show itself that we are seeing a direct counter alliance to the only public alliance we have in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, like, God, just give us some sort of conflict that matters.
Right.
But, I mean, after this point, everyone knows that Dr. Will is going to play. It's just a matter of whether Dr. Will wins
or lose.
And most people, it's either Dr. Will loses and the game kind of stays at this awkward standstill point, or Dr. Will wins and the game kicks into overdrive.
Right. So we get to the temple, and like we knew it was gonna happen. Dr. Will is playing. Let's Dr. Will play. And Dr. Will does what Dr. Will does, and that is cause chaos, tension, frustration, aggravation, annoyance. It's just he just does it.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So it even starts like literally when he picks his case. He's like, 12. And so he picks 12, and they're like, why did you pick 12? I just arbitrarily.
Yeah, doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter. And so they're like, oh, okay, cool. So let's pick your first 4 cases. So he picks 4 cases, and he says, I picked number 1. Cool. Picks number 1. Everybody's like, all right.
All right, yeah, no reason. Just number 1 because you wanted to pick number 1.
Cool. So then they were like, all right, what's the next? Number 1 had a big number in it. Like right off the bat, he knocks out 1.2 million, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Genuinely, the case values do not matter this episode because there's everything else going on.
And so then they're like, okay, pick your next case. He said, well, you know, what I think about after 1 is 2. So he picks 2.
Ah, damn.
Another big number off the board right away. It's like, whew. So everybody's like, you might want to change the strategy up, Will. He was like, yeah, I think I'm going to pick 3. And so now at this point, everybody knows what's happening. He's just picking.
Like, hell, okay, we're going to be here for a while. Great. There's no lovely family stories or reasoning behind it. It's just in order.
So he picks 3 and he knocks off $500. Bam.
Yay.
And then he picks 4 and he knocks off $1,000. Yay.
Yay.
So those first 4 are gone. 2 big numbers, 2 small numbers. And so the banker's a little annoyed. The banker's like, whatever. I feel like you're playing in my face. And so the banker offers $78,000. And he was like, the banker offers $78,000. And immediately Will says, I take it. And I was like, what? What?
Oh.
People are freaking out now.
And everyone's like, you did what? That's not a lot of money. We still have a lot of game to play. What the fuck are you doing? And everyone at this point goes from, a little bit amused by Will's antics of like, you know what? Fine. Picking the cases itself is completely arbitrary because you have no idea what's in what case and they're not related at all. So going in a line, fine, whatever. Now you're directly impacting our money.
Right. It was like $78,000 is not a lot. Got a lot of game to play. What is happening? He gets into it with Parvati. She's like, you said that you wanted to bank all this money for the prize pot, and that is not what you're doing. He's like, what, you're an accountant? Thank you. I get it. Whatever. And she was like, I'm just saying what you said. You need to remember what you said. Like, you said that you will go bank all this money for the team, and now you're not. And it's like,
Yeah, it's
She literally was
First of all,
like,
you have to remember what you said.
you got to remember what you said. So then David starts going off, and David calls him bitch made and was like, that's who he is. That's just what he is. And it's frustrating. And he going off. So Parvati trying to calm David down. He's like, no, I'm just saying, this dude is, oh, he pissing me off. Like, David's getting heated in that moment. Heated. And so Will is just standing there like, okay, I thank everybody for their feedback. So I see where all going. No deal. And they're like, but you already took it.
but yeah, you did.
And he was like, well, no. He said, because the rules state that until Joe makes it official, the question, and with the question, then that's not a final decision. And so Joe was like, yeah,
Hell, you're right.
you're right, because I never did make it official. So I guess you're right. He was like, so, Will, deal or no deal? And it was like, no deal, thank you.
So on one hand, I think this is incredible. I think this is because he absolutely got this idea after he was told during the last time that he couldn't break the rules and that no, he can't decide to just jump in and play the game. He was like, okay, then hand me the rule book. Let me see the whole thing real quick. Let me make sure what I can and can't do. He found this. He went, note for later, fuck with people, and then did that. And I mean, this entire thing is literally for him to get a hot read on what everyone would think if he made this move.
Right.
And it's incredibly smart. The one thing I will say, because I think this is highly entertaining, it is disrespectful itself to kind of the whole production crew, because it's actively it's Will in a way saying, I am better than this game that you specifically brought me out here to play. And in a way, it's also laughing in every other contestant's face, like, I can go back to my job at home and be completely well off and not really have an issue. So I'm just going to mess with every single person here, people who actually need this money, potentially. That's the part where I get a little conflicted on, like, yeah, it's funny, but you're fucking with real people's fortunes here. That's the one part where I go, I'm not fully on board anymore.
And this is where we differ, I think, Jack, because as much as I agree with a lot of what you said, I do think the lack of respect to the production of the game is in play here. I also feel like they knew. They totally knew exactly what, I mean, they brought him here for that reason. They knew who he was and how he was as a player. They know exactly what to expect from Dr. Will. Nothing Dr. Will is doing, for people who know Dr. Will and who is a fan of Dr. Will and has watched Dr. Will play, nothing what he's doing right now is out of the ordinary for what he always do. So these producers knew what they were getting when they brought him. Did they think he was going to blatantly laugh in their face or just take this game and not take it seriously? Maybe not to the full degree that he's doing it, but they knew.
And I also do think they are definitely getting their TV moment of like, You know what? Yeah, no, Will, you absolutely read through the rules. You're disrespecting us, but at the same time, you're really respecting us.
Right.
You are thorough.
I'm,
So,
and let's be honest. This is season 2 of Deal or No Deal Island. And Deal or No Deal Island, the first season did well, but this is getting talked about all over the place. This moment is getting talked about all over the place. And that is what they wanted. The TV moment is gold. And that is what they wanted when they brought him. And so I'm kind of like, it's hilarious. Sure, it's probably frustrating for everybody involved, especially the people who are playing with him. If I was in that, I would probably be frustrated, but I'm not. So I'm totally pulled away from it. I can watch it on TV and enjoy it for the TV gold that it is and just sit back and laugh. But it just got to the point where it was just like, this is what you asked for. You fucked around and found out because this is what you asked for.
this is what you signed up for.
This is what you signed up for.
You read the contract. You stalked this man and made sure he came in a fucking tuxedo on episode 2. Like, you knew what you were doing.
You knew.
But
and look, if this ain't the microcosm of America right now, with everybody effing around and finding out now, this is what it is. Y'all are effing around and finding out about Dr. Will. Y'all wanted the character Dr. Will, you got it. And now you have to sit in it and deal with it. And the rest of us can sit back and laugh at it. And it's just hilarious to me. I love it. But through it all, even with all the foolishness, what Will is doing is he's not lying to any of these people. Everything he's doing it to their face, and you either take it or leave it. And a lot of them are taking it. And it's wild. It's wild to me how they're doing it. But I kind of lived for this moment. And I know David, our panelist who is on other shows, would send me a message and was like, I would have done the same thing. I've always wanted to, if I ever played Deal or No Deal, wanted to just pick the cases in order. Because like you said, these cases...
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Once you pick your case, it doesn't matter. What order you go in, all of them are just going to go.
I can tell you, like, personally, I have done this in games of Deal or No Deal that I played because it's so pointless. It's like, I don't know what order to pick these cases in. I'm not playing for any amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go in order because it doesn't fucking matter. And it is funny. And I will admit that it is very entertaining to see someone just go, yeah, you know what? I really don't have a preference here. Let me just go down the line. It doesn't matter.
But he doesn't take the deal. And here's my question. Because every other game, we had 4 cases being chosen round 1, 4 cases being chosen round 2, then 2, then 1. Why was this went from 4 to 2?
I believe, and I could be wrong on the numbers here. So only 6 cases ended up getting selected. If I remember, it's either no, because only the highest cases went in. I think there was a maximum of 12 cases versus in other rounds there was like 14.
No, it's been 12 the entire time.
Has it really? Okay, I was trying to figure that out too, because in that case, I genuinely don't know.
Right. I'm like, why is this one 4, then 2, when everybody else was 4, then 4, then 2?
I mean, maybe there was something we didn't
see.
Like maybe 2 other cases were selected and it was ADR'd out. I don't know, but it didn't make any sense. Dr. Will, his second offer was when he had 6 cases left on the board, which gave him I want to say like a 66% chance of survival. And
He picked, it was like 100 and something, 138.
yeah, 128, 138, something around 125K. Yeah, and he takes it.
He takes
I
the
mean,
deal.
because it's over half and he already got what he wanted out of his initial poll. So why not?
And then he opens the case, his case 12, and it was like
I want to say,
$250 or something like
yeah,
that.
it was something incredibly low to the point where it was just like, yeah, no, he's good. He was
Yeah.
never going to be in danger unless he completely screwed up the game.
All right. And so he was completely, did a good deal. And so Will goes on this, he's going through this whole thing about CK, how she has been very mean to him. She has been very publicly mean to him, and he should pick her to go home, but he's not. He's picking MG, and then he walks off.
And then he just walked off. He walked off.
And MG
Well, everyone's
is
just
sitting
like,
there shocked. She's like, "What?
what?
Wait, what? Huh?"
Oh no.
And
And that's
Joey's
it.
like, "MG, you're
done.
you're done." And she's just like, "What?" And I was, well, I would say everyone was shocked, but everybody wasn't shocked. The only people who were shocked was Parvati, David, and Dixon. Everybody else knew what the plan was.
Yeah. Everyone else knew what the plan was. I think for a moment, the people who had been in the room with CK and Dr. Will were like, is he about to just take out CK anyways?
Right.
Like, even though he knows it's a bad idea because Dr. Will would do that just to be spiteful. But yeah, Maria Grace ends up as fully collateral. I mean, the only reason she gets targeted, honestly, is because Parvati, David, and Dixon are all safe. And there's no one else from the family that's even touchable.
Yep.
So
yeah, I don't think Will wanted to go for MG, but there was no one else to go for.
There was no one else
in the family. They were all safe.
But and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of just leave on. I mean, Dr. Will leaves for like 30 seconds and then he comes back because storming out a second time doesn't make any sense.
And he went the wrong way because he wouldn't have been able to get ready.
And he went the wrong way. Yeah, no, he was going to the elimination dock. Like, he wasn't going anywhere.
But yes, and so she leaves. She's gone. She hugged everybody except Dr. Will. She said, "I'm not hugging you," and then she's gone. She's devastated because she didn't see it coming. And she talks about that in her interview, so go check that out. We talked about it with her, but she talks about what she was really feeling and how that, But yeah, it was wild, and I am. I have to say, I'm enjoying this season a whole lot, and I
am enjoying this season.
I look forward to Tuesday night so I can see what is going to happen.
Who would have thought from a show that has its elimination be entirely luck-based that we would get one of the deepest social strategic games that we've seen on TV in a while? It's very strange, but what can you do? It's been a hell of a ride, and I mean, I don't even think we're halfway through the season at this point. We still have, I think, 7 episodes after this.
It's wild and crazy. But we will be back next week to talk about all things Deal or No Deal Island. And we appreciate you taking the time to check this episode out. Hit the subscribe button on your way out. Thank you. Subscribe to all of our other channels, our audio podcast links, our Patreon. Follow us on all of our socials at The Cut Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. You can follow Jack and I on Twitter and Blue Sky and TikTok and all the things if you can find us. And that's
Everything.
our
Yeah.
Instagram. You can get your merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. And you can just say cheers with us because we're going to go. So cheers.
Cheers.
And I'm going to leave because my plan didn't work out. And I don't really care what you think. So I'm just going to storm out. So bye.
Oh my God, what a diva.